Behind the Shades.
You've got to understand it's not going to taste the same because it can't compete with it. They've manipulated the foods that you're getting from fast foods and things to take part in your brain for it to light up and like it. And so when you start taking those things away, it can't compete with that. So you're right. Like a thing of strawberries is not going to feel the same as eating a thing of candy when you're craving something sweet. But if you do it long enough and there comes this invisible threshold, once you cross it, you don't want the candy and you want the strawberries because your brain starts craving that. But it takes, you literally just have to understand you're going to have to fight through it. It's a fight. It was for me anyway. It wasn't simple because I was highly addicted to it.
And that same way you described it is how I described me not eating meat any longer. As I mentioned this to a few people, they would ask the question, how do you do it? And I would tell them, once you get to the point, as you mentioned, that threshold where you're like, I am going to do this. Once you cross over, you can't go back. But I think we don't visualize us doing it. But you mentioned the candy. Almost every celebratory event involves something sweet. Birthdays, cake, chocolate, most holidays, there's some form of candy, right? Christmas, you have candy canes. Halloween, you have bags and bags of candy, right? Anniversaries, lots of sweets. Easter, lots of baked sweets as well. And I think we've gotten to the point where we're so reliant and we're so accepting of these bad foods that we no longer know what good food tastes like. And for you, Monika, when you look back at that person on the Las Vegas Strip and you say that this is who I don't want to be anymore, it's your template, I don't want to be this person anymore, and you're moving as far away as possible from that, was the biggest challenge the food or was it the activity of losing weight?
The activity was easier than the food by far. Because I've had to learn many, many times that you cannot outrun your fork. Like you can't. It's it's a saying. But they go so hand in hand for me. So the fitness kept me accountable to the nutrition. So if I'm gonna spend the time and invest my time into getting up extra early, 5:30, 6 in the morning, and I'm going to invest the energy and the pain, because there's a lot of times where I felt like I needed a full body casket or like a cast, not a casket, because you're in so much pain, because your body's never moved like that before and you're forcing it to do things. So the pain was good. So the pain was like a signal that I'm doing something right. And ironically, the thing with pain is if you work it again, a lot of times you can work out the soreness too. And I've learned that it's like working through the pain, which I was able to apply that to other areas of life. And that was the really cool thing with this journey. But working out was like, okay, when I noticed that these foods make working out easier, it was like, okay, it kept me accountable to wanting to eat healthy. But I learned very quickly that if I like a cheat meal, when I have a cheat day, I realized that next workout, I could tell an immediate difference in my body's performance and what it could do. And so it kept me like, man, I'm making it harder on me by not eating the right foods because I'm making these workouts way harder than they have to be. And I'm one of those people that are always asking myself, what am I making harder than it needs to be? And like, I'm the most hard-headed person. So I'll tell you, like, there's a million things, but if I can start making it easier, like if I just did this, then this would be easier. And you're not always going to be motivated, but the working out kept me in the game. So even if I would go through a spell where I wasn't eating as healthy, but I was making sure I was getting to the gym regardless and suffering through the workouts even more. It kept me in the game while I was going through that. But if I would have just said, never mind, I've already eaten this bad food, it doesn't even matter, then I've just learned, because I've done this so many times, I'll just go right back to where I was, because you have a thermometer and that's what you're used to. And so if you don't find a way to balance that, was like working out was my like non-negotiable. No matter what or how I feel, I have to work out, because it releases so much of my anxiety, depression, things like that. But it also keeps me honestly accountable to the foods I eat, because it makes me aware when I try to pretend I'm not aware that what I'm eating is holding me back. Because we do that. Like we're great at lying to ourselves, you know?
Oh yeah, we lie to ourselves every day.
Oh, yeah. So you're like,
Pretty
this isn't a
much.
big deal. But when I work out and I can tell it's harder. Now there's still a danger zone there, because then if you're eating it for so long badly, you start realize your brain will start thinking this is the normal workout, is the harder workout. You don't realize how much tougher you just made it, but you can really, really tell when you're in a routine and you even break it for a day. It's just, if you start getting too comfortable with it broken, it'll catch up.
So when you got to 265 pounds, what was your thought process at that point? And where did you want to go in your life?
So in that point in my life, I had tried to lose weight many, many times. I did what a lot of people do. Like everybody makes fun of New Year's, but starting over, I don't, because you know what? This time it's stuck, you know? And so as long as you're not giving up the fight and you're continuing, keep doing it, but you don't have to wait till New Year's to restart. Like you can restart any day that you choose. But as long as you are doing it and trying, you are getting closer to the safety zone and less in the dangers. When you just think there's no hope left, you're in the danger zone. So at 265, at that place, I made the decision that I wanted to build an empire, and I wanted to live my life the way that I choose for the first time. Like that was like, not just build an empire, not just like, I wanted to have a life that I was proud of, a marriage that I felt great in, a home involved no yelling and screaming, and like just was peaceful and fun and joyous. And I wanted to live a life of adventure and trying things. My whole life, you know, I've fought against that, and that was part of the weight. Like it was just a physical view of what was going on the inside. And so at that point on the strip, when I was like, we were so excited, we'd never been to Vegas. It was supposed to be this really cool trip. Just my husband and I, we've never taken a trip together alone, because I wanted to follow adventure. I want to do all these things. And it was no, you have not earned this right to do these things. And so it just was, what do I want more? Like, is it the piece of cake or the adventure and trying new things and going to new places and not having to worry about if we go to Six Flags, if the seatbelt will fit, or riding in the airplane. Like that was a horrible event there too. I had nothing the whole trip but reminders of my size and how I don't fit in to the world that I want to live in.